In November 1982, Kim Duk-koo, a 23-year-old rising lightweight fighter from South Korea, traveled to Las Vegas to challenge American champion Ray Mancini at Caesars Palace. The fight was scheduled for 15 rounds, and from the very start it was brutal, with both men delivering and absorbing tremendous punishment. Kim, known for his toughness, refused to back down even as Mancini's relentless aggression wore him down. By the 13th round, Kim was visibly exhausted, staggering under the pressure, but he kept moving forward with sheer determination. In the 14th round, Mancini landed a crushing right hand that sent Kim collapsing to the canvas. Though he somehow rose to his feet, the referee stopped the bout. Only moments later, Kim collapsed unconscious in his corner. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors discovered a massive brain hemorrhage caused by repeated blows to the head. Emergency surgery was performed, but Kim never regained consciousness and was pronounced dead on November 17, 1982, 5 days after the fight. What made the tragedy even more haunting was what investigators later found in Kim's hotel room, a handwritten note taped to his mirror that read, "Live or die, I will be remembered." This eerie message suggested that Kim had gone into the fight aware of the extreme danger and determined to give everything. The ripple effect of his death was devastating. Kim's mother, Yang Sun-yo, committed suicide by drinking pesticide at her home in Kojin, South Korea. Referee Richard Green, who officiated the bout, also fell into depression and died by suicide the following year. And Mancini himself carried a heavy burden of guilt that haunted his career and personal life. Kim's death not only scarred those directly involved, but also forced boxing to confront its brutality. In response, the sport implemented major reforms, including reducing championship fights from 15 rounds to 12 and tightening medical supervision for fighters. In the early 1990s, Colombia unexpectedly lost their opening game to Romania, and in the game against the USA during the first half, Colombian defender Andrés Escobar attempted to block a low cross into the penalty area. In trying to clear the ball, his foot accidentally redirected it into his own net. That own goal put the US ahead, and Colombia eventually lost the game. The defeat meant Colombia, a team predicted by some to even win the tournament, was eliminated in the group stage. Back home, the elimination caused anger and disappointment. For ordinary fans, it was heartbreaking, but for people tied to illegal gambling and drug cartels, it was more serious. Many had bet large sums of money on Colombia advancing, and Escobar's mistake had cost them heavily. On the 2nd of July, just 10 days after the match, Escobar returned to Medellin and went to a nightclub with friends, trying to enjoy a quiet evening. Outside the club, he was confronted by a group of men connected to cartel interests. They began mocking him for the own goal, and one of the men pulled out a gun. Witnesses later testified that as the man fired, he shouted, "Goal!" with each shot. Escobar was struck 12 times. He was rushed to a hospital but pronounced dead 45 minutes later. In the aftermath, the killers were arrested, but many believed the true masterminds, powerful cartel figures angered by gambling losses, were never punished. At just 27 years old, Lewis had become the team's captain and was loved for his smooth shooting and leadership on the court. However, behind the scenes, he was facing a hidden health battle. During a playoff game in April 1993 against the Charlotte Hornets, Lewis suddenly collapsed on the court without contact, leaving fans and teammates stunned. He was diagnosed with a serious heart condition known as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a disease where the heart muscle thickens and struggles to pump blood properly. Despite doctors warning him of the risks, there were conflicting opinions among medical experts. Some even suggested he might be able to continue playing with treatment. Lewis, deeply passionate about basketball, continued light training while seeking further evaluations. Then, on July 27, 1993, while practicing at Brandeis University in Massachusetts, he collapsed again during a workout. This time, he never regained consciousness. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead from sudden cardiac arrest caused by his heart condition. His shocking death devastated the NBA, especially Boston fans, who had placed their hopes on him to lead the Celtics into a new era. The tragedy also sparked debates about athlete health management, medical ethics, and the dangers of pushing physical limits despite medical warnings. Bill Masterton was a talented center for the Minnesota North Stars and was respected for his dedication and work ethic. On January 13, 1968, during a game against the Oakland Seals, he was skating up the ice when he was checked by two opposing players. The hit itself wasn't unusually violent, but Masterton lost his balance and fell backward, striking the back of his head hard on the ice. Since helmets were not a part of the game at that time, the impact caused massive brain damage. Blood immediately pooled from his head, and he lost consciousness on the spot. Despite being rushed to the hospital and undergoing emergency treatment, he never regained consciousness and died 2 days later, at just 29 years old. His death shocked the hockey world and sparked a major debate about player safety. Many argued that helmets should be made mandatory, but resistance from players who felt helmets were uncomfortable or made them look weak delayed changes for years. It wasn't until 1979, over a decade later, that the NHL finally required all new players to wear helmets, a rule inspired largely by Masterton's tragic accident. In his memory, the league introduced the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, awarded each year to the player who shows perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. His death, though devastating, became the turning point that pushed the sport toward better safety standards. That's all for today. Subscribe for more content and drop your topic suggestions in the comments. Until then, see you around.